1 cup of coconut flour. Only a little bit of sugar, 2 tablespoons. And let me grab the 6 tablespoons of butter that I've already melted. And it won't come together like a dough. It'll be a rough, crumbly texture. This would be a great gluten-free option to a cheesecake recipe. A cup of sweetened flaked coconuts. Generally, when I use coconut in baking, I like to use sweetened flaked coconut. And since I'm making bars and squares, well, yes, I have a square pan again, 8 inches. I greased it and lined it with parchment. And I just press this into the pan. And this only takes 10 minutes to bake in a 325 oven. Once it's baked and cooled, you really see that it has a nice set to it. So now it's time to make the first of the 2 fillings. This is the rich and creamy coconut lime layer. The first ingredient I'm adding to my pot is a full tin, 400 ml of coconut milk. I also add a full tin, 300 ml of sweetened condensed milk. And it adds just the right amount of sweetness to this recipe. And to thicken it, I don't use eggs, but I rely on 6 tablespoons of cornstarch. You always want to add your cornstarch to a cold or room temperature liquid, not to a hot liquid. So that's why I whisk it in first. When you're cooking a cornstarch mixture, because there are not eggs in there that cook quickly, you don't have to whisk it constantly, but definitely regularly. I am going to add lime zest to the recipe, but I'm saving the lime juice until it comes off the heat. I was inspired to make this recipe from my dad. His favorite 2 pies are coconut cream and key lime. And one day I offered to make him a pie when we were on holiday, and he couldn't decide, so I just put the 2 together. To fully activate the cornstarch, you want it to come up to a full simmer. So this really takes about 6-7 minutes. You'll see it goes glossy. You'll see a couple of bubbles pop through. The heat brings out the lime. I can smell the coconut. Now I'm ready to take it off the heat, and I add the last few ingredients. 1/4 cup of fresh lime juice goes in now, because I don't want to cook away the freshness, adding it too soon. And I'll add about 2 teaspoons of vanilla bean paste. And I'll add just a splash of coconut extract. And then lastly, a cup of that sweetened flaked coconut. Whisk that all in. And while it's still warm, transfer it to the cooled base, because it will set up. It slices so beautifully, just like a cream pie slices. If you've ever made a pudding or a cream pie before, then you know you have to cover the surface with plastic wrap. Just press the plastic wrap right on the surface. That way you don't develop a pudding skin, and that leaves lovely space for the fresh raspberries and the final cream topping. Oh, what a dream.